Okay, let's call our meeting to order. First order of business, we have a hearing on a variance request for clearing Farm Road. Mr. Grady. Sir,
Hi, my name is Max Capola, with Grady Consulting, representing our client, Buzz Artiano at 11 Clearing Farm Road. We are requesting a variance to the 800 square foot, requirement for a leaching field, for the proposed accessory dwelling unit on the property. Page here to zoomed in view here. So as you can see, we've proposed the field over separate to the left of the accessory dwelling unit. In order for us to have attached it to the existing leaching field, they would have had to cross a water line, rip up the pavement and rip up his front yard. So we thought it was more reasonable to propose it by itself over here. And to have it be 800 square feet for a 2-bedroom accessory dwelling unit, we felt was oversizing it a little too much.
single bedroom in the ADU or two?
It is two.
It's 2-bedroom. It's a 2-bedroom ADU was?
Yeah, 2-bedroom
Okay.
ADU.
On Beth.
Yeah.
And how many square feet of leaching you got?
We have 434 square feet of leaching.
Okay, anybody have any questions?
I think it sounds quite reasonable.
The only reason I brought it, besides the reduction in build size, is there's a grading easement on the property, so, just letting everybody know that. Other than that, I think it makes more sense to obviously undersize the field.
Right.
I would entertain a motion to accept the variance with no further expansion.
So moved.
There you go. Somebody would second that. I
Second.
think we could wind this up.
So the second, second, Laura.
Okay. All in favor?
I
Thank you.
Good with that, Buzz?
Very good.
Now, let's find-
Bring your dad home?
Hopefully.
Good luck.
So if you're thinking about building an ADU, don't wait too long, because when you need it, you need it.
You need it
Yeah.
quicker. Yeah, good point.
Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You'll be missed.
I'll let Billy.
Good luck.
Yeah.
It takes me less time to put this away. Take it out.
Okay, moving on.
We're just passing that variance paper around to be signed by
Yeah.
everybody.
That's fine.
So I can put it in the phone.
Moving on. Has everybody had a chance to take a look at the bills?
Decided not to visit them, remember the last meeting? Oh, you
You're supposed to read them.
No, that was your kind of.
Oh, that's okay. Apologize to read it then.
Yeah, but I ain't committed to memory.
Oh, no.
So, and you
have
know
a
what?
request
It here, you
Yeah,
can look at mine.
Yeah.
Need to request them to print it for you.
Yeah, they'll sign Karen.
So everybody seen the bills?
Have a great night.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay,
Yeah, we don't have any signs.
we have some minutes. Dennis, we had a minutes from the meeting of March 2nd. Everyone was here.
Yeah, I moved to accept the minute of March 2nd I presented.
Second.
Second by Carol. Anybody have any questions, additions, changes? Hearing none.
As always, Lori, thank you. Yeah, I do not think.
She's a star.
Mhm.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Hi.
Okay. Okay, Joyce, what do you got?
So septic has been picking up. It's not crazy, but it's definitely gaining some momentum now that the weather is broke. We are due to get more tick kits in through part of the grant. We are working to on getting hazmat training as part of the grant for, because we're responsible as health agents for all this hazmat stuff, but yet the state provides no training for it. So as part of the grant, we're looking to get one of the hazmat guys from the Brockton State Fire I can't think of the right word, company or whatever, but
Mhm.
the state fire marshal's office, a part of the hazmat team is supposedly gonna come and do some training for the 6 towns in the grant, but we'll probably open it up to other health agents in the near vicinity. Or the area, it's a fee, 1 fee, so the more people we can get trained, the better.
Mhm.
In addition, the Kingston will be hosting the housing training for tier 3, which I'm a part of, so in the end of April into May and June, once a week for like 5 weeks, we'll be conducting the training here, so it works out well for me, I don't have to leave town.
Mhm.
And that will conclude my training to meet the state housing inspection coursework for the new Safe 2.0. So as that proceeds, I'll let you know. Tobacco hearings, wanted to let you know that I have spoken with MHOA and the tobacco specialist. And that I will send all the documents that they have provided me, the guidance documents. So the only purpose of this hearing that we are having is not, as we all have already discussed, no fines can be remitted or excused. That's the state. People that were cited have to pay that. The only thing that this board could do would be to not have them lose their license for the allotted time period. I will send you the documents and you all obviously will make that decision when you hear the hearing. To my knowledge, I think we only have 1 of the 3 businesses coming. We haven't heard back from anybody else, right? At last
No.
time I checked, it was just 1,
Just the one that is a definite.
and that's the Brazilian Point, correct? And they're supposed to be selling their business, and so, I believe that's probably, at least in part, why they want to get this taken care of, because imagine it's gonna,
Do their due diligence before
Well,
they process the sale.
well, the new owners came in to, look at our stuff. And we informed them that they are up for a hearing, so to be aware of it, because it will pass to this doesn't go away.
Right.
So that's where we're at with the tobacco. Like I said, I will send that out to everybody. So please check your email so that you can read it prior to the hearing.
You lost me a little bit there. So there's a tobacco housing hearing, did you reference?
No,
Was it, no, there was
housing is
nothing
the
about
whole thing.
housing.
That's a training.
Right, oh, that's. the
You guys
training, yeah,
all
yeah,
have tobacco hearing
Tobacco,
for
yeah,
the 3
right,
businesses that had non-compliance
right, okay,
complaints.
okay,
They have a right to have an appeal hearing.
okay.
The problem is, the only thing that you could possibly do is waive the loss of right to sell cigarettes for whatever the time is that you guys deemed was appropriate, so.
Right.
As far as,
All right, so just so refresh my memory on this. So that was what we got last week. And was
What?
I'm sorry, at our last meeting, we got that report from the state?
no,
about the
I
tobacco
was
violations?
for the report, I
Okay.
didn't get it yet,
Okay.
so I have all the paperwork, I had to talk to people at the state.
Okay, so we haven't seen that yet, is that correct?
No, that's why I'm gonna email it to
Gotcha,
everybody.
okay, all right.
Yeah,
okay,
just, I want everybody to have it so
Okay.
you can read it
All right.
before the meeting,
Okay,
so that we,
okay.
can conduct the hearing correctly.
Okay.
All it comes down to
Mhm.
is that they don't want us to have monetary discretion
They mean
on
the
the
state,
fine.
correct?
No.
They
State.
being the state.
Yes, right,
That's what it
right,
really comes
right,
down to.
right.
So they're saying we can no longer forgive
Right.
or alter the fine structure
right.
for those offenses.
Right, okay.
However, we can, if
Mhm.
it's a suspension of the license to sell is attached to the fine,
Mhm.
we can address that.
Correct.
Okay?
Yep,
There you go.
yeah, right.
Okay?
Okay.
But
But that money still comes to the town, right?
no,
No. No?
goes to the state.
Okay, okay. But that,
As far as
I
I know.
thought they told us that it went to the town.
The state's the one that runs the inspections
Correct,
and they have to pay for
correct.
the inspector and the investigations. and-
I
Yeah,
can't tell you
okay,
for sure
okay,
if the money,
Yeah.
it gets paid here.
Yeah,
So I don't know
right,
if it goes into
right.
the general fund
Right.
or
It's
it
in the
goes
general
back
fund.
to the state.
I can tell
I
you
don't
that.
know.
No,
Okay.
it was in the general
I
fund.
think,
We
right,
don't
well,
get
I don't mean it
all that.
doesn't go to us, I said to the town,
I
even
know
though
what
the
you mean.
state does the work, the the fine goes to the town?
The state doesn't really do the work. Part of the grant is that we pay Bob Collette from the Tobacco Coalition to perform our inspections, our undercover inspections.
Mhm.
So it's part of the grant,
Okay,
but he works for the state. It's a tobacco collaborative. And the reason we do that, that's all he does. He knows the right way to do it. He knows what the rules are.
Mhm.
I don't have time to groom an 18-year-old on how to go buy a pack of cigarettes and go out with them, because you have to be present when this happens.
Right. Yeah.
So it's better for the town, better for the department.
It's more cost efficient.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and it's in liability wise,
Right.
it takes everything. We're not trying to set anybody up, because I
Right.
don't even know when the inspections, I mean, I know they'll say, hey, we're gonna be doing inspections, but it's not like they call and say, hey, this Saturday, we're going out to do inspections. I get after the fact, I get who didn't comply and who did.
Okay.
So it kind of takes any chance of being accused of not being indiscriminate. So
Right, okay.
it's just better for us. And then I do have a flyer to show you. We've been working, Annie, the nurse, has been working with the school. So this will get hosted by Carol Beck. And they have a smaller I just printed this out so you can see.
Is CBS sponsoring it?
Yep,
Okay.
well, they do, if you're the parent, you scan this, you make your appointments. It's a way, because Carol doesn't want to have the vaccine clinics we often do it at the school, but they don't want it. I'm not getting into why, I don't know, and I don't care. I'm not pushing for something somebody doesn't want. So they're gonna provide this as information. I'm also gonna approach Sue Woodward tomorrow, because I'll see her at managers meeting, and let her know that we have this and that they are open to the option of having one at the fields or at the rec center, whatever, as a means to get people vaccinated, especially with upcoming camp and summer programs where sometimes the vaccines are required to attend. Try to do it, make it easy.
The rec might want to push that on their,
At the camp minimum, we will push this as on the website.
so we have a PDF we can send them if
Yep.
they want to send
Yep.
it out the way they send out so
Yep.
many beautiful notifications
Yep.
on a regular basis.
Yep, and that way it gets posted. We'll put it on our Facebook feed, on our website. Also dealing with, it may potentially even get posted in the library.
Okay.
Top of the-
Is it gonna be at the rec too?
That's what
I'm
you
going
said, that's
to-
right, yeah.
I'm going to talk to Sue Woodward tomorrow and Donald Cologne tomorrow at the managers meeting about having them post it, because I literally just got this over the
Hot
weekend,
off the presses.
All right.
over the weekend. And then, the rest of it, the readdress the food inspection postings and the, retail food service. I just have some questions about a few things, but I think it's better tabled for another meeting,
Okay.
if that is acceptable to everybody.
That's fine. Okay,
And then I have the nurse's report if you want me to just kind of highlight what's been going on.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so basically, told you about Carol Beck, in CVS, so that's done. We met with Plymouth County Outreach, and we are working on getting sandboxes for any of the town's buildings that want them. And then AEDs, we're also working on getting AEDs supplied, whoever needs them in the town, town building wise. She has completed her CPR training, so we're gonna be working on doing our first one. Doing it with the COA staff so that we can kind of get our feet wet in a small way. So the three of us will be providing that class. Annie also submitted application for certification for the clinical laboratory improvement amendments. It's so that when she's doing sugar, the insulin tests and cholesterol and that, there's a whole procedure we need to go through, and so she's already put the applications in. We know what we need to get as far as meters, because it has to be a multi-user meter. So she's done that. She's also, got CLIA, that's the name of this organization that certifies us, all the certifications for what the meters that we're gonna use, so that's done. She's starting work on planning and health fair, and she has completed more trainings on TB, tick-borne diseases, and, because they're all reportable to Maven, so she's been doing, she's like a little machine, she's doing whatever training she can get her hands on.
And she's quite lovely.
Oh, she's awesome.
Yeah. That is
It's so
amazing,
refreshing
really.
to have somebody just come in.
Really, yeah.
They do their work, they ask questions when it's appropriate, and they
Yeah.
just go to town and
Yeah.
do what they need to get done. So
Great.
that's it for me.
Before you say
Right,
that, anything from Janet Wade?
She's doing her Kingston Women Group, so I get updates on that, but it's not directly necessarily related to this department. She did provide a new updated resource list, which was helpful. We put it in our book of resources, and so when people call, we have the ability to provide that, so that's been good. I haven't met with her because she was out of town for a little bit. I think she was visiting family. And then I was out, and so we just haven't, we email back and forth, but I haven't met with her, so I'm guessing probably by the end of the month, I'll have a meeting with her.
So have you heard of this new group?
So I'm,
Kingston Women Helping Kingston Women.
Yes.
yes, yeah, I'm on it. Yes, yes,
She's
yeah.
told-
yeah.
You're gonna report on it.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Well, I didn't.
You're gonna talk about it when she's done.
So I wasn't able to go to the last meeting. I had a
Oh,
prior
okay.
commitment
I'm
this
sorry.
past Friday. I went to the initial meeting, which was very instructive for me. I sort of learned about things happening in Kingston I had no idea were happening. And so that's really good. And it is looking at what it is that will help improve the quality of health of or quality of life of people living here in Kingston, specifically women to women. There are a lot of focus on older women. And a couple of areas that were identified pretty quickly were lack of transportation options in the town if you don't have your own private vehicle, right? And how that can impact people being able to go to their medical appointments or pick up what they need. And also contributes to their isolation.
Yeah.
So that was one big one. And I think the group split into a few different areas to focus on priorities. I haven't looked at that information yet. That was just from past Friday. But it's a pretty dynamic group, very representative of a lot of different departments. I know we do have one of the members there that spent a fair amount of time with the nurse at the elementary school and got some good information from her. I wish I had gone to the last meeting. I unfortunately missed that. But there's a lot of things that dovetail with the Board of Health, aging in place. So, I'm sort of on there with that frame of reference. I made it clear I don't speak for the board, although I'm a board member, but that's sort of my frame of reference when I participate. So, yeah.
Dennis, maybe we're gonna have to start one for the old guys.
Yeah, see, there you go.
I've had a few old
Well,
guys.
that's, well, actually,
Feeling
Yeah.
They don't care about us.
well, actually, there is a concern. I mean, now that I'm not quite as young as I used to be. I consider myself a teenager with lots of experience.
There you
go. No, the need for home health aides, people who have disabilities, whether they're temporary or not, like a replacement or a shoulder replacement or whatever. If you're by yourself or if your partner is, mobily challenged, those are things that you need. I mean, there are a lot of practical things that when you're younger, you take for granted until they're not there. You go, oh boy, this is difficult.
Do we not have a bus in town that takes people?
Yeah, we got,
That's right. But, some of the feedback that we got on that is it doesn't run frequently enough. It doesn't cover enough areas. But
But the
there again,
COA also has
Right.
rides that you can
Right.
call and
The van,
request.
yeah.
I mean, you have to be part of-
But is that only two there
right.
or is that two appointments too?
Right. So any medical need, the
Yeah,
Council on
okay.
Aging will do it.
Okay.
So I did do sort of a deep dive into some of the questions that were asked at the very first meeting. and identified a lot of resources. I just didn't bring that information. I didn't know that that was going to be. I'm happy to more fully report on that on the next time.
That'd be fine.
But I did identify like different modes of transportation. And there is a long list. And I think, one of my questions was, do we really have a lack of transportation or lack of information about it?
Sure.
Yeah, that's the big question I have, so we sort of need some more data, I think, before we, and I had shared my thoughts on that with the written feedback that I sent
Keep
to them.
hitting on
Yeah.
isolation.
Yeah, I know.
The horror stories I could tell
Right,
that we've dealt with over the years,
right, yeah,
all could have been,
right. Absolutely, right,
once these people lose contact with their friends, neighbors
Right.
and the rest. And
Right.
I talk about that at the senior center every
Right.
time
Yeah.
when we're on the campaign trail.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but
Yeah.
keep hitting on that. Okay,
Okay, yeah. So I thought what you wanted to hear from me was the,
I do.
the conference,
I-
from the conference,
That's
it's
fine,
a
go
Massachusetts,
ahead.
it's MAHB, just a minor, and correct, that's all right, Massachusetts Association of Health Boards. Yeah, there's so many acronyms in the public health field.
I know, I'm
Yeah.
like, what?
Right,
I have to
right,
like actually look them up. And I'm like,
Right.
what?
right. MAHB, yeah. By the way, everybody, happy National Public Health Week.
Hey.
I know, right? Today's first day, National Public Health Week.
All right.
So, yeah.
That I didn't know.
Well, see, there you go. There you go. Right.
Fun fact.
Yeah. And they are doing a lot of programming. So, yeah. Maybe next year we can participate like in their yearly thing. I guess they always do it in
Yeah,
April.
so was it
Yeah.
similar to the one we attended last year?
Yes, it was
Same
basically,
topic.
it was basically the same format, but it was all updated. It was all updated. It was very interesting. So I got all the slides. Is there anybody who doesn't want to receive them? Let me just put that. I hate to flood people's inboxes with all this stuff. Anybody who's not interested, because it's a lot of data.
them.
Huh?
like to see them.
All right, perfect. Okay, I'll send them all out. Yeah,
Then
yeah.
we're all
Right.
on the same page. which
Right,
was
exactly.
Right. Right. Yeah. And to share the
You
information.
don't want to, you don't want to see it, don't look.
Yeah, right.
Just delete it if
Right.
you don't want to read it.
Yeah. Well, I know, but sometimes people don't like, a lot of stuff coming into their inbox. So, yeah, I can take a few minutes and just go over some of the things that were highlighted.
What was your
Yeah.
favorite thing?
So actually, my favorite thing with all of these kind of conferences is actually talking to the people who were there. So people who were sitting at our table were from Fairhaven and Randolph, and a lot of people from Plymouth wound up at the table. But then chatting with other people around, finding out, so what's up with your board? What do you folks struggle with? What is it that you're really doing? And so I heard a lot about nuisance complaints. It kind of, right. It kind of surprised me. It was like nuisance complaints.
It's spring.
Okay, and the roosters are out? I don't know. But turns out a lot of towns just have it out and out, no roosters allowed in the town, which I didn't really realize was a thing, but it's fairly common. No roosters, right.
I would love to bring that up.
Ours are not, that's not in our farm regulations. We
Huh?
did that.
Oh, no, it's not,
Yeah.
right, it would be up to the Board of Health to do that, to say,
No, it's
No.
a town-wide thing. I
It-
thought.
it's a
That's
town
still the
thing.
town meeting. It's my
It's a-
understanding.
oh, okay, I don't know. I didn't ask them how they got that passed, but,
With the LR regulation,
huh?
it's the LR regulation,
The LR?
loud roosters.
Yeah.
Regulation, yeah. So that was just one of the nuisances. Other people are really struggling with the whole windmill thing and the noise of the windmills
And the light flicker from them too.
in the light
It's a
flicker.
real
Exactly,
issue.
exactly. So one case that they picked to illustrate the whole nuisance thing, and they did a fairly in-depth, I would say maybe an hour and a half on different nuisances. But one that was really interesting, and I've seen signs up about this in Pembroke. I don't know if you've seen the signs up that say no BESS, stands for battery energy storage
Yeah.
systems. Right. And I know other towns have sort of been proactively looking at that, trying to get some regulations in place before they're asked.
Duxbury's been about it lately.
Yeah, it's been
We're
on,
paying
it's
for
been on
what?
their radar,
Windmill
right?
turbines?
No, this is
No,
bad.
Oh, battery storage.
So like
Oh, the
for
batteries. Well, the problem with the battery, you gotta get approval from the fire department.
That's part
They're
of
the
it.
ones, yeah, that's the big part of it.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
So it was a,
I'm
okay,
sorry.
big
Go
slide
ahead.
presentation, but here are a couple of
Go
slides I picked out. I thought were informative. So the question is, where does public health fit into this, right? Is battery energy storage a public health issue? It is not an energy question. Let's see. So, ooh, I got a little tiny print here. Energy policy at a state is a state level concern, although the risks are felt in the local town. So the town doesn't have any say over that particular issue. And it's not a zoning issue because the land use permits do not address the location of the facilities. So it is a public health protection question. And it does fit in the jurisdiction of the public health departments. They illustrated a couple of towns that dealt with that. It was very interesting. A lot of push-pull in the town departments, one entity saying it was their purview and another saying it was their purview. I think it went to litigation and it did fall to the Board of Health because it was a nuisance and noisome trade. So it was the noise level from these battery storage places, which, so, yeah.
What battery storage places are we talking about?
We don't have any yet.
We don't have any,
We're
we
trying to
don't have
be
any yet.
proactive about it.
Right.
I have solar and I have battery backup. That doesn't qualify.
That's okay. You're talking
That's
about,
okay.
they're talking about
Right.
huge buildings that are full of batteries that back up AI and computer generated stuff.
Right.
They're literally huge industrial buildings that all they do is house batteries.
Right.
So
Right.
there's a litany of
Complex.
issues that can come
Right.
with it.
Right.
Fire being one of them.
Right.
Not being able to put them out.
Right.
Fires
But
is a big one.
Leakage.
Right.
Huge.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, if
Yeah.
there's a.
Right. There's a lot of
something
toxic
close.
chemicals involved. If they do catch on fire, not only is it a fire hazard,
Yeah.
it's a chemical
Breathing
irritant.
issue.
Right. And a noise issue. And it was,
They emit a low hum.
yeah, a low hum, and they say it's at the decibel level of someone having a conversation in a room. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but if it's constantly going on all the time, the way they illustrated that is imagine if sometimes, like if you're in a restaurant, right? And the people next, like in your table right next to you, we're just having a conversation, like you hear it.
You
And it's not an overwhelming noise, but it's that same decibel for houses within a pretty significant distance of that. Yeah. So.
Quality of life issue.
A quality of life issue, absolutely, which is where it fell to the Board of Health in these particular towns, and it had to do with the siting of these establishments. They were very close to like an over 55 community, and there was another, maybe an adult daycare center there as well. There were a lot of people of vulnerable populations who would need to be removed from the area as quickly as possible. The big over 55 housing only have one entrance and exit to that property.
Oh.
I don't know how that even happened to begin with, right? But that was like and it was also cited to close. And there was another town that went through a fairly lengthy process. But anyways, the advice, sort of long story short, the advice on that is to look proactively and maybe, look what other towns are doing as well, kind of share information and best practices. Because the thing is, we all like electricity, right? We do.
Everybody's.
Right. They don't want windmills for electricity and people don't want solar farms ruining their neighborhood. Now they don't want, we've got to have something.
Well, these
yeah.
battery backup locations from what you described,
Mhm.
they're not for
Not generating
Not
electricity.
they're for AI, and there's no direct benefit to anybody in town. It will benefit who's ever running an AI facility that needs that power, but that's not
Right.
something that's local.
It's not exclusively for AI, it's for people who back up their files. It's the cloud.
Huge super
Yeah,
cloud.
exactly.
Like a
It's a cloud.
supercomputer.
Think of it as
Yeah.
the cloud where all your data is, right? Or where it needs to be stored, right?
Well, it sounds like something that needs to be addressed by way of zoning, more than a health board regulation, because it's a zoning issue. What areas, if any, in town can be built to utilize these facilities, and what is the siting requirements? And if we just have a regulation that says you can't have it, that eliminates all the other questions.
Yeah, we probably pretty much can't do a thing, you can't have it.
You can't,
with that.
yeah.
Right, we can't do
They
that.
can't
Right.
build it. What you can do is put parameters around it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In
Right.
other words,
Right.
that's where to control it, not down at this level.
Mhm.
That once you have a facility, then what are the
Right,
regulations?
right.
I'm
No,
just
no.
gonna put this out
Yeah.
there. that it would be better for this department to be more proactive and outline what the concerns are,
Mhm.
rather than wait for the zoning or planning board to decide and then have to argue with them about, here is the problems. If you already have the problems lined out and you go to them and say, hey, we're concerned about this, what does this look like as far as planning and zoning goes? Here is our concerns. You're being proactive about it, rather than waiting for them to make arbitrary decisions of where it can and can't go, and then you have to fight with, well, this isn't good and here's why. Seems to me it would be better to have a strategy of looking at what the problems are and avoid them to begin with when they start the process of zoning and planning.
If I could suggest that we might want to do is have a meeting with either the town planner or the planning board. Those are where those kinds of regulations come out of. And address our concerns and see where we could develop a strategy to be proactive. If there's more than one agency in government being proactive, that doesn't mean we're proactive. The other side is, no. That's a whole other battle. So I think doing some preliminary discussions and kind of getting a sense what is the lay of the land? Is there any opposition? Is there any enthusiasm for, what is it even on anybody else's radar?
Right.
It probably isn't.
Right. So Dennis, I appreciate your bringing up the fact that it's not just the Board of Health. It also would
Yeah.
involve other departments, including the fire department. I know in Braintree, when one was proposed, the fire department came in and said, we can't get our equipment in here if there was a fire because there was no access. There wasn't access. So that put the kibosh on it. So it certainly does involve other departments. But I think a place to start would be here. And we can draw on lots of experience. I'll send out the information. We went over a couple of different towns. And if you want more information afterwards, I can sort of dive into it there, but anyways, it was a really interesting presentation. So, I move that we put that on, an agenda in the near future within the next few months, depending on what other issues are before us, and at least start looking at the process. That makes sense?
Is that something our health agent can do?
No, it is not.
Yeah.
No,
right.
this is a board discussion.
It's a board thing.
Yeah, no,
Right,
I'm just trying to get a lay of the land here.
Right,
of
right.
What is a
Right.
good logical next move?
Right.
That's what she's proposing as that
Right.
motion.
Right.
That's what
Right.
she's.
You know what,
proposing
we
with
can,
that motion.
we can ask, somebody from this group here to come and present, which they've done to other boards.
Okay,
So we could do that. Yeah, I will look at, I can look into that.
that sounds really
Yeah.
good. We get some
Yeah.
education
Sure,
as
right,
we advance.
right.
And if
To
we-
collaborate with other towns.
I was, yeah.
Pembroke must be addressing this in some way, and I know Duxbury already has been considering it.
Yeah, so
So,
we
right.
might involve the fire department and when we
Right.
have these people come to speak, because,
Right,
they might be
right,
wanting up the same information.
sure,
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely, right. Okay.
So
So I mean, at this point, it's not an immediate concern, but just within the next
Kind of,
few months
okay.
anyways, right, depending on, what else is happening, that we look at that and address it. So, yeah, so that was one really interesting thing.
when you had a
Yeah.
motion.
Huh?
You had
Oh,
a
yeah,
motion.
Yeah, well, I just moved that. So the motion would be to, so the motion would be to address this issue of citing, of citing BESS facility in the town.
Okay, at a later meeting.
Correct, at a later
Okay.
meeting, to
Okay.
yet to be determined. but
You really
right,
don't need a
right.
motion for that.
Yeah, right.
Laurie, you can put that on the future agenda. Is that okay?
okay.
You'll be all
All
right
right,
with
yeah,
that.
that's
Okay.
fine.
All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
And the other,
So, I mean, so the other thing that I picked out, which I thought was really kind of interesting, it wasn't so much a review of the last time, was some new final social consumption cannabis establishments. So apparently that's like a real evolving thing now, that there's the local towns have the authority to allow consumption on site of cannabis products
Mhm.
at the cannabis establishments.
what sites?
So
Yeah,
basically, think of it like a
So-
bar to go, instead of doing smoking
Weed
pot
bar.
at your house.
It's
you
like a
go to
cannabis bar,
You go
right.
have a drink, you
Right.
go and smoke pot,
Right.
like a hookah bar, and then
Yeah.
get your car and drive.
Or eat your
There's
gummies and
always
drive.
Having any product there.
Or eat the chocolate, or eat the
Yeah.
brownies, or.
Right. Right.
Do it at home, where you're not gonna kill somebody.
Right. So that is the thing. They told some interesting stories about a few towns who had done it. And then sort of wound up re-looking at the whole thing. There are a lot of slides on it. It's a really complex operation to look at. But it may be something that we are, asked to weigh in on with one of the establishments. So,
Definitely something to throw into the
right.
working.
Right.
Again,
Right.
better to be
Get ahead of it.
proactive than wait till we get faced
Get
with
ahead
it.
of it.
Exactly.
Fly by the seat of your
Right.
pants.
Right.
And we
Yeah.
do have a limit on how long we can hold up somebody's permit.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Permit
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
what?
To have
On-site.
On-site consumption.
on-site
Yeah.
consumption
Yes.
of
Right.
THC
Edibles,
product.
THC.
Right.
Just think of it
Who would
like a
apply?
hookah bar.
Yeah.
Like a hookah bar.
Right.
Who would apply?
Somebody that wants to own a business, and they want to sit in
Absolutely.
a car and you can sit and eat.
You know, people,
Dennis is getting all excited.
people have been doing on-site,
Right.
no, people have been doing on-site consumption for
Yeah.
Many years.
hundreds of years,
Of alcohol, right?
of alcohol and.
Oh, I listen to my wife. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no, and it's, anytime you
Right.
consume anything that alters your perception or your ability to function off, away from home. And it requires driving from that location to another location is inherently dangerous.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because the difference is there's a way to test for being intoxicated. There isn't a foolproof legal test to show that somebody's driving high.
Too much THC,
So opens up a
Okay.
huge can of legal issues.
Moving on.
Well, The other,
Yeah.
the other thing that they spent some time talking about was vaping, and the increasing use in teens.
So scary.
Yeah, and the legislation there. Yeah, so there's a lot of information there as well. And again, something that, we might want to consider, putting some stronger regulations or getting more teaching. Maybe it's more a matter of getting some education out into the community. Kids apparently can vape with products that you don't even really realize they're using them,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
They are
right.
so nondescript.
Right.
And
right.
look like common everyday items.
Right.
Lipsticks, mascaras.
Right. Right.
Pens,
Yeah,
pencils.
Not that I've seen those, but I've heard, right, the parents can't
Yeah.
really see,
Okay.
teachers can't really
Like-
tell,
Makes me glad
and they're
for
harmful,
kids.
and they're harmful to the kids,
They are.
yeah.
It's definitely.
Education, this goes back
Education.
to enforcing the tobacco regulations we already have in town.
Right.
We don't need more, we just
Yeah.
need to enforce the ones we have.
To enforce them and maybe get more education out there about the different ways,
Right.
it's not just
Um,
cigarette there.
Carol Beck has some great information
Oh,
if
okay.
you,
Yeah.
that she distributes. So
Okay, great,
you might want to hook up with her
Yeah,
if you're really
okay.
interested in the
All right.
stuff.
all right, yeah, thanks. That's a
Yeah, I
good
think she
idea.
needs to do
Right.
most of it.
Instead of recreating the wheel.
Yeah.
Right, you don't need to do that. We don't need to do that, right, okay. All right.
What else you got?
I got nothing. How about next meeting?
So-
Before we do that,
Oh,
do you
hold on.
have anything else, Dennis?
Nope.
Rosemary?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
talked with you,
Yeah, that's
again,
fine.
move to have a permanent spot on the agenda that says old business, so we don't lose track of things. And so the things that kind of showed up in these minutes, that are now sort of old business, but not quite, tied up, were the three, let's see. So we did talk about, the local initiative, and, last meeting, I asked about the septic system failure that was on Elm Street.
Yeah.
We're still looking into it.
Yeah, we're working
It's
on it. We've already sent the letter out.
Okay.
So now it's a waiting game to see if they
Okay.
respond.
So it's still an outstanding item.
Well,
Right,
you
yeah.
guys aren't doing anything about it. That was
Okay.
really
Yeah.
just for your information. It's on me to follow. Like, we sent the letter.
Right.
Now we have to start the process and see if they respond. We sent a certified letter. You have to I need the receipt back before I take any other further action.
It's either, it's
Okay.
either old business or pending, in other words,
Uh-huh.
it's,
Right.
it's an item that's ongoing.
Mhm.
I think ongoing is perhaps the best.
Mhm.
It doesn't require action at every single meeting, but it doesn't require to be resolved at some point.
But just sometimes old business can just be acknowledged. Yeah, old business, it's still there, it's still pending.
Mhm.
But then that way it doesn't fall off the radar, right? The other thing that we had talked about, but we haven't
Well,
taken any
excuse me.
action on.
Wait a minute,
Yes.
wait a minute, wait a minute.
Yes.
Okay, because right now we're actually dealing with old business, but we're
Right.
operating off the minutes from the previous meeting. You with me, Lon?
Yeah, well, you have the meeting, the
Right.
minutes from the previous meeting,
Right.
but the agenda does bring up like readdressing things.
It does.
What's on the agenda for today, which could be old business.
Mhm, 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 mhm.
But I think what you're looking for
It's an ongoing section.
is like, no, you could use it as old business, but some form of a listing of those items that are still lingering.
Outstanding.
Right.
And do you find that to be problematic in any way when you're generating the agenda?
Now I just have to make sure I know what the options are.
So you, if you're not comfortable with it,
To put a lot of pressure on you to make sure.
No, because if going forward, I can
Okay.
just say, all right, we haven't finished this, I'll put it on.
all we'll do is put it under old business, various subjects.
Right, right, right. Okay. All right, great.
All right,
Right,
And
right.
you're looking at me like,
Me?
yeah,
Oh, no, you do you. I get no
Okay.
skin in this fight.
Okay. Okay.
Like, whatever, you put what you want on your
it's skin
agenda.
in the game.
Right.
But okay,
Okay.
It's
All right.
bloodless.
all right, Laurie, you okay with that?
yeah, I'll see how.
You good with that?
Okay,
Yeah.
You can give
Yeah,
me.
if it becomes problematic, you let us know.
Right.
Yes. I'd
No,
like to-
hopefully this will motivate the board to move forward on things and get it
Right.
done.
Yes,
Right.
take them off the list.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Okay.
right, and just not leave them hanging. So the other item there was that we had talked about inviting the epidemiologist to meet with the board at some time, but we didn't specify like when that was going to be or who would do the inviting. Correct?
Okay, as a board member,
Yeah.
if you'd like,
Yeah.
you could schedule a meeting
Yeah.
with the epidemiologist if they were so inclined.
Mhm.
The grant committee,
Not look at me.
I'm not,
Okay.
I'm just,
Do not look at me.
I'm looking
Okay,
at you so
okay,
that if you
okay.
don't want me to go in that direction.
Uh-huh.
But at any rate,
I
mean, didn't you
I'm
give us
I'm gonna be
information?
honest, I'm not sure
Yeah.
that a meeting will be fruitful or useful to this
I
board.
know you've
Right,
expressed
right.
it. That's why I
It's
was
not
looking at you.
criticism,
Right.
it's just the fact of the matter. There's
Okay.
not been much done
Yes,
on this town.
yes, but it's-
And the information was in the report and there is
Mhm.
not a lot of consequence.
but it's obvious to me that a member would like to have such a meeting.
Yeah, that's you.
And all I'm saying to Rosemary is, as a member of the board, she can contact the epidemiologist.
Okay,
And if you'd like to set something up,
okay.
and just let me know if it's going to be more than three. I don't know who among you might want to attend that or be part of.
You need a separate meeting from the board.
Yes.
Yes, like Rosemary can
Go
go meet with the
No, 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 that's not what I was,
epidemiologist.
okay, that wasn't what I had.
Yeah, that's what I
Right,
heard.
right,
Rosemary
yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to bring her.
Right,
that's what I-
right, to bring her here.
But there was resistance to that.
Right,
You weren't
Right.
very,
I mean, we had the
Right, right.
report.
We've had the report, we've seen what that epidemiologist has to offer. I have nothing more I need to ask of that epidemiologist.
so then,
uh-huh,
So I don't think it would be the best,
okay, so
Use
you would,
of my
you would need
time.
to attend.
I,
Okay,
exactly.
Okay,
So if we
Uh-huh.
figure out, like, so I don't need to attend.
uh-huh,
I don't know if there are other people that want to attend, but if you are less than three, then you can just have a meeting with the people who want to be there. If it's less than three, it doesn't even have to be a board meeting, it can
Right.
just be a meeting.
anytime.
okay, so are there other members of the board who would be interested in hearing the epidemiologist? Advice on health issues that relate to the town of Kingston?
I think I am good because what I read, there's not a whole lot of information on our town. No.
Oh, was there anything missing that you would have liked to have seen there? Like as far as like what's important for the town what's important for the Board of Health to address moving forward?
I would have to reread it.
My suggestion would be
Yeah,
this.
I'll reread it, and I don't think there was anything in there that I said, oh, I need to know more information on that. No, that is,
You have the board, you have the
There's no-
emails of all the board members.
True, right,
Okay.
right.
Why don't you make contact, see about availability? And then once you get that, see who might be interested in participating. And if in fact it's more than three, let me know and I'll make sure
Make
it
a
gets
meeting.
posted for you.
It's three or more, right?
Okay?
Okay, well, I suppose
A quorum.
so I understand right now, so Heidi, you're not
I'm not
interested,
interested,
Joe,
thank
would
you.
you be interested? I mean, I don't want to
Time
extend
to
an
be
invitation,
Right.
you know.
Yeah,
so,
just
yeah,
what
yeah.
would you,
I'll look at it.
what more do you want to, like, what more?
Do you
So,
want to deep in?
So-
dive deep into it?
so do you remember the three things that were recommended as important areas for us to focus on? I brought it with me. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Does anyone remember what,
I do not.
okay.
I'm gonna guess one of them is child and maternal health.
No, it wasn't.
Really? Because that's the big catch thing right now. That's all being pushed
Oh,
on.
sorry.
Yeah,
No,
right,
go
right.
ahead.
That, I didn't see that identified anyplace in that entire report.
We'll talk.
Not one word about it. That's why I told you I was so surprised that that was the big focus. Yeah, all right. So Kingston, the three areas of recommended concern, and I think one of them we certainly are aware of, which is enhanced preparation for COVID, cold and flu season. You know, we're a population of a lot of elderly people who are at high risk. And I think we do definitely address that. The second thing that was important to attend to as a Board of Health was improvements in student attendance. Correct.
To the school?
Correct. I don't understand.
I'm
I
gonna tell you right now, all of this
Yeah.
stuff in there has to do with the talking points that are coming down from
Uh-huh.
DPH as part of the grant.
Mhm, mhm.
That
Although-
is my
right,
resistance to having
right.
the dealing
So-
with it at this board meeting.
So with future epidemiology reports, I think just to have an understanding of what the process is and to say, next time, this is what, I just don't understand this, and we paid for this. This came out of our grant money, okay? We paid for this. Improvements in student attendance. Now, as she, demonstrates, it certainly was an issue. The level of truancy or just, absenteeism was alarmingly high.
From our town?
Exactly, yes.
During
yes.
what period
I was gonna
of time?
Let's see if she writes the years. You know, the,
Because I'm gonna guess
There's a
it was
long
COVID
report.
and when we had all of the,
no,
people in the shelter.
right, no, let's see.
So that is by nature a very
Absolutely, right,
incongruent
right.
picture of
Right.
what the reality of
Right.
everyday life is here in
So she
Kingston.
writes, chronic absenteeism rose sharply during the COVID-19 pandemic and still has not returned to pre-pandemic levels.
As of when? That's a,
This-
she doesn't give
This
that.
report is for 2025. Well, up
No,
to
she's not telling you what the
2025.
data is from. She's telling you
Yeah.
COVID period. She's not saying it's from 2019 to 2021 or
She
2024.
does in the larger report. I think the data goes all the way up through past 24, because this is all new. It came out in June of 2025. So it's up to that point of June 2025, right? So it's current. And then the third one for the Kingston Board of Health was considering homeowner and renter support. And so there is documentation in here that Kingston is very highly impacted by cost burdened households. And in other words, another way to say that is it's like more than 30% of the income of a particular home goes to just paying their basic mortgage and it doesn't really leave that much left over for basic living expenses, which will put people at risk for, skipping, cutting back on medications, not getting the right food. So it is a quality of life issue. I'm not sure how the Board of Health would be able to offer, I don't know. Right.
Do we have a money tree I'm not aware of? Because I'd like to pluck some off.
I know, it's like, yeah.
I don't know.
So that is a state of Massachusetts.
Right, I was
law, not
gonna
a
say, there's
state of
nothing
Kingston
that
law.
town can't.
So,
Okay.
yeah, but so Kingston was the most at risk out of all 6 towns.
I find that
Yeah.
incredibly hard to believe,
Yeah.
driving through
Yeah.
Plimpton and Carver.
Yeah.
Right, in
But
Halifax.
that's what, and she does,
That's not part of our 6
Oh,
towns.
right. Yeah,
the report was quite extensive with lots and lots of data. So you can look at the data itself and say, that's really interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's a danger. I'm not,
Mhm.
trust me, I'm not opposed to innovating.
Yeah.
But there is a significant danger in, they used to call it the military mission creep, where you start out with one thing and you end up just,
Yeah.
where basically
Right.
you're
Right.
never
So I
going to
don't-
be satisfied. You're never going to be, you're never going to have enough of whatever it is you want.
Right.
And, you start losing attention to the basic services that we provide, like what we just did in
Right.
this afternoon, evening.
Right.
And so there's not an Aladdin's lamp where you can just make wishes. I would say if the need is compelling and doable,
Mhm.
that's, there are a lot of compelling
Right,
things
right.
that are beyond our
Right.
authority.
And Dennis, I agree with you on that, and I think this is beyond our scope or out of our scope. At the same token, I do believe that it's very important for us to identify what are our priorities, right? What are the important things that we can do with the resources that we have? I don't see how this. What would fit into it? Like, what really would fit into this?
One thing I think that is worth looking at and addressing
Mhm.
is illness services as they relate to health issues, and also any prenatal care or anything like that we can provide as a resource. Because the biggest thing is education. That's the most we can do. We cannot provide enough resources to meet every possible need, but we can provide education to meet the most critical.
Yeah, but we also do policy and regulations and that sort of thing that help shape.
So
Right,
but
exactly,
policy usually
exactly.
is.
None of these
Exactly.
policies that you're enacting
Right.
is going to solve housing issues or people's inability to control their budget. That is not the health department.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The health department,
It's a need, but it's not.
no,
it's not
but
a
we
need.
have no purview over it.
I know, I'm agreeing with you.
And the other thing that I think is really important to understand is that's just statistics. And anybody who's taken a statistics class is very well aware that I can make statistics say anything I want to. Plain and simple. So I don't put much credence in that report.
Is
Just,
this public health excellent grant thing going to fund another epidemiologist report for next year?
No, it's not going project work, she works for the grant.
Right.
She's
which is
right,
gonna run out.
a full-time position.
Right.
And
Right.
so they just give her work to do. That was her, she came up with, I'm gonna do a report on, and she just picked arbitrarily, which she didn't ask any of us what we wanted it to be focused on. It was just given to us. She just took it upon herself.
Hmm.
So, look, I've been here now almost 3 years, very clear on how the grant works. There is an agenda
Right.
and we stick to the agenda. And so there is no deviating from that. So what the grant does is what is coming down from DPH. So my attitude with approaching the grant is we take what we can that is useful and helpful to our town. And I just don't worry about the stuff that I know
We can't change.
I can't change it, I can't fix it, and I sure as hell don't have the money when the grant runs out to keep doing it. So
Yeah.
I'm focusing on the things that matter right now, services that I can get that are going to be useful to the town when the grant's gone away.
Right.
Like getting trained for CPR, being
Right,
able
yep.
to provide classes to our town residents,
Right.
getting a resource list together, getting connect, those are the things that are gonna be important when we have no more money from this grant, which is coming down the pipe.
Right.
And the epidemiologists will be long gone working at DPH in Boston.
You know,
Which is
that,
pretty
yeah,
sure what the clear plan.
yeah, that is just a shame that grant didn't do more for the public health programs in the local area. Right.
They're
That's
doing the
the
best
only-
they
yeah.
can. We have
Yeah, well,
parameters
Yeah.
and restrictions on what we are allowed to do. We come up with things that get shot down.
Mhm.
And believe me, they're not like silly things that are wasteful. It's reasonable things, but the powers that be in the state are saying, oh, no, you can't do that. Oh, no, you can't do that. So then what are you giving us the money for?
yeah.
You're giving me money and tying my hands. So at this point, look, if we get another year out of this grant, we'll be lucky.
Yeah, right.
And
Right.
so let's just, I'm just getting what I can get. It's gonna be service to the town and
I mean, supposedly the whole goal of that SAFE program was to give more control to the local boards of health.
below me.
Well, that's what it is in writing. That's what it is in writing.
Okay, I'm gonna tell, because they're asking us questions. I just had to fill out a survey that took me, and Lori can confirm, 3 hours to fill out, 3 hours.
Yeah. So,
And so what it is they're trying to centralize services so that all of our little boards of health go away. That is the underlying mission of this whole grant thing. We have subject experts, we have this person, and they're not providing diligence for. Half the time you were on the meeting, they
I
didn't
know.
even show up.
Well, that's what kind of got me going on this.
Well,
But
pick your battles,
Yeah.
because right now,
Yeah.
just take the money we can
Yeah.
get and be as useful as we can get.
so I tell you what, I am going to reach out to the epidemiologist. I'm going to say I'm reaching out on behalf of the Board of Health. That's where I'm coming from, on behalf of the
For
Board of
more
Health,
information.
for more information. And if anybody wants to join me, I will put the invitation out there and we'll see what happens.
That's all
Okay,
Good luck.
all right, yeah.
I was suggesting.
So Joyce, now, did everyone else get that survey from the state program?
No, it would be, I have to fill it out. I had to fill it out.
No, I got it as a member of the Board of Health. to
No,
fill it
but
out.
there's two things. One's a survey, one's the performance review. I had to do both. The performance review is the thing that takes.
So the survey is supposed to be done by the members of the Board of Health.
It gets sent out.
Right, so did you all get one? Has everyone else
Everybody
already
gets
did it?
emailed.
Have you all done it?
So I
Because
didn't think we had
I
to do
was
anything.
unclear about
Yeah, I
it.
was
Did
gonna
you get the survey?
Guys, the ship is sealed. It's already over. You
So-
can't turn it in
No.
anyways.
It's until April 10th. The deadline is April 10th.
Oh, I thought it was earlier than that.
No, because I just printed it off. I thought I brought it with me. It's still April 10th. And I wasn't sure how to fill it to answer some of the questions. So I guess I'll
And
just,
that's exactly what they're hoping for.
so nobody here has done it?
No,
No?
I didn't realize it was something we had to do. I know,
And they mentioned it a lot at this meeting. They kept saying you're going to be getting a survey. Oh, I didn't print it off. So
I did not get a survey. That's what
I
you're
think
asking.
it came, the date on the original one I got was February. I think
Yeah, I
that was
know
the
they
first time
send
I
them out
got
to all
it.
your members. It's not, it goes out to the state. Or perhaps you want to forward it to everybody if you still have
All
it.
right, yeah, I'll forward it. Okay.
Yeah.
Because from February, maybe it got missed, right? But it did say specifically, like in bold letters, Board of Health, and there's lots of things to check off if you're a member of the Board of Health. Sounds like something foreign to everybody. Dennis, you didn't see that?
No,
No? Okay.
I could look for it.
I'll keep looking.
Okay. Anything else?
If there is nothing else to, do, I put.
Next meeting, May 4th.
I offer a motion to adjourn.
Second that?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.